Alright, everybody, I got another video here. This is just going to be kind of a fairly quick overview of some common topics. I got, like some bulletin points here, but just, the basic talking points, the major issues people vote on for the most part are here, and what I think we should do generally about these issues or what my thoughts are on them. And just as a demonstration as to why, like, to show you, like, where would I fit in? Where do I fit in the political spectrum? Do I fit in the Green Party? Am I a libertarian? Am I a conservative? Democrat? Like, what am I? I'm none of these things because I have my own views on these issues that differ from any of these parties' solutions. So at best, I'm an independent. At worst, I'm some kind of anarcho-syndicalist, but whatever. Here we go. Guns. I own guns. Where I sleep, there's 4 handguns. Accessible through no barriers, through no locks, a drawer or something, within a 15-foot radius of where I sleep every night. Not to mention the guns in my safe. I have no issue with handguns or guns. Like, I don't have a problem with them. I grew up around them. I know how to operate guns. I respect them and fear them because they're fucking firearms and they can kill you. But I own them, and I have no problem with people owning them. I'll say this. Certain people shouldn't have guns. That doesn't mean necessarily that people's rights or access to firearms should be taken away indefinitely. Some cases it should be. Sometimes, like, if somebody's obviously suicidal or whatever, or going through some kind of psychotic break, they don't need to be given access to firearms during that time. Now, if this is like a chronic illness, like they're schizophrenic or they're chronically depressed or whatever, and a threat to themselves, like, then yeah, maybe we should think about restricting or revoking this person's access to firearms. Common sense. If you're a batshit loon, or we know that you're gonna or probably gonna plug yourself, maybe we shouldn't take your firearms away. Not that it should be a crime in all of those cases to own or have access to a firearm, just like kind of a citation or a fine or a hey dude, you can't have this right now kind of deal. So there's that aspect of guns. Now, gun control or gun legislation, I don't think there should be gun control per se. I think you should be able to own AT fucking Warthog and a goddamn tank if you want and if you can afford them. The stipulation being this: the government should know what it is and you should have it registered. Now, I'm not going all the way down to small arms ammunition and how many fucking goddamn 9mm slugs you have. That's ridiculous. I don't believe in any of that shit. What I do believe is this: a simple national registry for firearms, all new firearms. I don't think we should take old firearms and make people register to those. That would, one, people aren't going to do it, and two, it would just take too much time and effort. All you do is this: you fucking put in a system in place where we already do background checks when you go to a store to buy a firearm. It can't be that hard to take all that data that's given to the state, usually your state, or sometimes depending on the firearm or the background check that's being ran, the federal government. Sometimes it's a fed check, sometimes it's a state check, most times it's a state check. Like, there's got to be a way to federalize the system, create a national registry in which all they do is they know who you are, they verify you through your ID, they take your name and the serial number and the model of gun it is, and it's just recorded, it's stored. So when a crime's committed and they find some girl shot in the head and butchered and thrown into a swamp or whatever, and then they find what they suspect or they find or prove to be the handgun that was used, you know, or the gun that was used to commit the murder, you know, a quarter mile down the street or whatever, they could look at the serial number if it hasn't been scratched off and at least have a lead, a possible lead. I'm not saying that the person that owned that gun ipso facto you killed this person. What I'm saying is they now have a lead to go on. They can go and say, do you still own this firearm? Do you have any a bill of sales proving that you transferred this firearm to somebody else, you know, etc. And that guy, yeah, if he had sold it to somebody else, he would be breaking the law, I guess. Technically, you know, maybe given a fine or something for failing to report a transaction or something, or maybe it would solely lie on the buyer. You know, maybe it's maybe it's a self-report situation. I'm not going that far. I'm just saying, I don't have me as a gun owner. I, I have guns all around. I don't think that there's an issue with having a national gun registry. I don't. I mean, fuck, I got 2 guns in my drawer right here. Okay? I got a goddamn 38, and I got my 9. This is what I rock when I go out. And in my bedroom, I got a fucking 45 and my little 22. And I got 2 more pistols in there and enough rifles and shotguns to talk about for a while. I obviously don't have a problem with guns. And I don't have a problem with them being registered, which no law-abiding citizen that owns a gun should. You can make the argument for confiscation, but dude, there's enough people with guns that are not going to let other people take them from them for that to ever happen. So it's a moot point. So moving on. Drugs. We live in a society where if you are found to be a habitual drug user, you are stripped of your right to protect yourself and to own firearms, which is ludicrous. Whatever somebody decides to do in their own fucking home by themselves or with other people, as long as they're not drinking and driving or getting high and driving or whatever, doesn't have any effect on the public at all. It shouldn't matter to you. Shouldn't matter one fucking bit if somebody's sitting there fucking banging goddamn crank off their kitchen countertop at 4 a.m. as long as their music ain't too loud and they're not being aggressive and causing a nuisance to the neighborhood. Shut the fuck up and mind your own goddamn business. That's how I feel about drugs. I don't think anybody should be criminalized for being a drug user or for buying drugs or for fucking trading drugs or selling them. Okay? This is how you, in my government, this is how you deal with drugs. Certain substances should be limited to laboratory research, and you should be criminalized or at least penalized in some way, either financially or maybe with a small amount of jail time for not necessarily use, but at least distribution or manufacture. Things like carfentanil, okay? Like carfentanil is 50 to 100 times stronger than fentanyl. Like, let that sink in. There's other substances that simply do not need to be in the hands of the public in any regard. You could argue that fentanyl is also one of those. I would argue that in certain applications, like the strips and the patches, you know, that kind of shit, that those kind of products for fentanyl should be allowed over the counter in a pharmacy for anyone who is of age to purchase, period. I think that you should, and I think it would be a safer society overall, and we would actually have less issues with addiction if people could use drugs without the fear of being incarcerated because of it. I think you would have far less people that use drugs habitually every day for years. It would be much more of do it a few times a year or a couple times a month kind of thing. as opposed to this day in, day out grind to get enough money to buy a bag of fucking heroin that is actually fentanyl so I can come to the verge of death for 6 hours on. And, like, the way we do it makes no sense. The war on drugs is a failure. It's not going to work. It's never has worked. It's fucked, okay? I think if you are of age and of mind, of sound mind, you should be able to go into a pharmacy or a drugstore or a big box store with a pharmacy in it and be able to get, without prescription, basically anything you want. Other than, like I said, some super potent substances, that probably need to be taken out of anybody's hands. I'm talking morphine. I should be able to go to the fucking pharmacist and be like, hey, I want morphine. I want diacetyl morphine. I like heroin. I want heroin. I want methamphetamine. I want amphetamine. I want cocaine. I want freebase cocaine. Do you see where I'm going with this? I think you should be able, as an adult, to walk up to a person that has these substances that are those substances and have been treated and have to be up to a certain level of purity. Like, you should be able to go up to that person and purchase these things. Now, same kind of thing with the guns. You would have to work with a whole team of biologists and medical doctors and everything like that to figure this aspect of it out. But essentially, how I think a system like that would work is this: for X substance, right? Or let's say you could break it down by classes like opiates, amphetamines, whatever. But let's just say on the substance level, like you as a human being, let's say they say that you can use 100 milligrams of morphine or equidose equivalent per day. That's how much you could do on a daily or a monthly basis. You'd have to work on a monthly basis. So 30 days, 100 milligrams times 10 is a gram. That's 3 grams. So let's say if the thing says per month, a person above the age of 21 can go into a pharmacy and purchase 3,000 milligrams or 3 grams of morphine or of or that amount equal potent, like of an equal potent, dose of another drug in that class of drugs. So like maybe, you'd be able to get 3 grams of morphine versus 1.5 grams of heroin, because heroin's roughly 2 times stronger than morphine. That's what I'm dealing with here. That's how drugs should work. I mean, and a lot of drugs that come from plants, like it. If you want to grow pot or poppy seeds in your own home and make opium or hash or trim bud without having a third party, without having it tested, that should be your right as an individual, as long as you're not selling it, or giving it to people who can't have it, i.e. minors. That's how I feel about drugs. So, moving on. Prostitution. This is specifically about prostitution, but it should show you how I feel largely about sex work as a whole. Prostitution. Prostitution should be fully legalized, and it should not be criminalized at all through fine or anything else. Maybe very, very minimal fines for working girls on the street by themselves without a pimp or with a pimp or whatever, right? Maybe for pimping there should be some kind of low-level charge or fines that go along with being a pimp and pimping girls out. But the way we should handle prostitution is this. Excuse me. Prostitution should be legal. And mind you, this is all at a federal level, all this stuff I'm talking about. If we're going to keep the states and whatever, that whole system, they can fight it out amongst themselves if that's what you think. Personally, I don't think we should have one law, essentially, we like law, these things I'm talking about, we should have laws at the federal level that cover everything and the states can't go and fuck with it. That's my opinion. But anyway, getting back to it, prostitution. Prostitution is one of the oldest human pursuits, okay? You're never going to get rid of it. There's nothing wrong with it as long as it's done safely, okay? Like, I'm not the kind of guy who has ever paid for sex, nor will I ever pay for sex, unless you catch me in Phuket. But, yeah, all joking aside, it's an industry that can be standardized and made a lot safer than it is. It's relatively safe as it sits, especially over the last, I'd say probably 20 years. It's gotten safer. Just society largely has gotten safer. When you look at the metrics, it doesn't feel like it, but it has. But it's still not as safe as it could be. Now, the way we do it is this. You make sure that all prostitution, legally operated prostitution, is done at an established brick and mortar business. That way you can monitor what's happening. Financially, security, all that. Like, you can monitor all of that as a governmental organization, right? Or state level entity. So it's simple. This is how this is the cam man's fucking goddamn plan to make money off of selling pussy. All right, folks, you want it, you got it. Here it is. You have a club, a membership club. You pay monthly or quarterly or yearly, whatever dues, right? Let's say you pay $200 or $400 a month in dues to become a member of this gentleman's club. Now, what that covers is the overhead of the building, so your electricity, your security systems, your other staff wages, so security staff wages, and any administrative duties or cleaning duties, those kind of staff, their hourly wages would be covered by that. The dues, the membership dues, and maintenance, all of that shit would be covered by the dues, as well as testing. Now, to be done either monthly or bi-weekly, whatever. But testing, STD testing for the workers and for the club members, the Johns. That way, both parties are protected. Yeah, there's a 2-week or a month period of in between tests that somebody could pick something up and bring it in, but that's a relatively small window of time. And that is, as of right now, the industry standard in porn, from what I understand, is every 2 weeks. So that's what the dues would cover. Testing. So now you've got everybody's getting paid. The building's expenses are being paid. The owner probably not making anything off the dues, maybe a little bit, you know what I mean? But they can have a lounge where they sell drinks and sell whatever and make money. And get some kind of commission from the girls based on a percentage, I would assume, or maybe a booth fee, $100 a week or whatever. So the dues pay for that, right? So, okay, it's all good, but you haven't paid for sex, right? Yet, no. Past that, you go into the room, you go, hey, is fucking Marlene in, or hey, is, Keisha in, or whatever. And they go, well, Marlene's not here, but Keisha is. And you go, dang it, I really like the other one, but whatever. You want to get service that day, so you go, all right, I'll go with Keisha. And Keisha goes, you get in the room with Keisha, and she charges half the price that Marlene did for the same service, but she'll do things. She won't do certain things that Marlene will do, or whatever, right? Basically, the point I'm getting at is this: you pay your dues, you're tested, you're covered, everybody's secured, and everything's being monitored, right? And beyond that, as a freelance worker, the girls or the guys or whoever, the prostitutes, should be like self-reported, they're self-employed essentially. They're just working at this club. They're not employee of the club. They don't get paid hourly. They are their own contractor and they set their own wage, and they're, responsible and liable to pay the tax due on that wage. But that's how I think it should be run. You have fair market and you have safety, health wise, and physical safety. Um, so yeah, anybody that tells you that prostitution can't be legalized or shouldn't be legalized is dumb, because prostitution will never go away, and the only way you can make it better for society is to not get rid of it. It's to make it so it can be as safe as it can be, and you can put it somewhere where the general public can't just have open access to view it. If you think it's a bad thing, why would you want it out on the street? Wouldn't you want it on a fucking building, down a dead end road in the goddamn, near the industrial park in your city? Like, let's be real, okay? That's prostitution. Abortion. Yeah, whatever. People feel their own way. Let's get into this. I personally, my opinion is this. I think that if you get knocked up, choose to have sex with someone, and this can go, let's say me as a male, I get a girl pregnant and I demand that she have an abortion. Like, that's like the male equivalent to the example I'm giving right now. But I feel that, this is my opinion, I feel that if you have an abortion and you get pregnant and you consented to having sex and you weren't drunk and weren't underage and wasn't your uncle or whatever, you chose to engage in sex and you got pregnant, like, that's on you. So if you are going to end the life of the clump of cells or the fetus or whatever that's inside of you, just know that you are ending life. And by my definition, you would be considered essentially a murderer, or no better than one. I mean, you're not killing a person that has been born, so it's a little bit different. But for all intents and purposes, you're ending a life, in my opinion. But I don't think anybody should be mandated legally from making their own mistakes, because you could argue that person makes that mistake and it hurts a future child, and that's a perfectly valid argument to make. But I think it is your right to have an abortion, even though I don't agree with it at all. Where I draw the line legally is this: if it is a completely elective abortion like I described, we should not pay for it and have no obligation to pay for it whatsoever. It should not be funded by the government. If it's a completely elective abortion, you gave full consent to have sex, no, that's on you. You fucking go bust a couple more tables to get the fucking money you need to get an abortion. Or go ask your parents or whatever. I don't fucking care. That's how we should treat abortion. It should be legal. You should be able to do it whenever you want. But if it's completely elective, with no extenuating circumstances, no criminal, you weren't raped, whatever, you're gonna pay for it. Now, the cases in which there's like incest, rape, a medical complication that poses a risk to the mother or to the unborn child. Yeah, I think that we as a society, if we, like we had healthcare and comprehensive healthcare and things like, I wouldn't mind paying for abortions in those instances if they're necessary, or like in really extreme fucked up situations. But just the carte blanche, I'm gonna get fucked by five dudes that I know, and then one of them is gonna knock me up, and then I'm just gonna have an abortion every 6 months. Shit, we shouldn't be paying for. Go buy a box of fucking Trojans, straight up. Like, so that's my take on abortion. Yes, it should be legal, for any reason. There should be no legal repercussions, but we should not subsidize or pay for it in any regard other than when a crime has been committed or it's a medical necessity. And that's my opinion. Immigration, this is a fun one. Personally, I don't know why the fuck you'd want to come here. Like, to be real with you. Uh, like, there's some decent things about America. I mean, all joking aside, yeah, America's not that bad of a place to be. But like, for real, man, why the fuck did you come here? Like, this place is a shithole. It's a loony bin. But immigration, okay. This is more of a loose one, I guess, for me. As far as like, I don't have a plan written out how to deal with this. I mean, a vague one, but um, I don't care. Like, if you want to come here, that's fine. We've got so many people that have come here illegally at this point that there's no way we could vet all these people, and they wouldn't. A lot of them would be suspicious or would misunderstand things and wouldn't come forward, even if you did promise them amnesty at this point. But there's far, far too many of them to not do something about this issue. Either deport them or integrate them. I mean, there's too many of them not to do one of these things. And I don't know, like, which one's going to take less time and less resource, deporting them or assimilating them? I mean, I really don't know. I like, and I don't care. I don't think we need to deport these people. All we need to do is vet them, but that's going to be extremely hard considering a lot of these people from certain nations simply don't have any documentation and never have. So there's no way to verify their identity. People from Africa, especially, you know, like we could do it now through if they have social media accounts and we could verify their identity possibly that way. But as far as like, this person has a birth certificate, some of these people are never given shit. They don't have any license or security, social security or anything. Like, they don't have shit. They don't have any documentation. They were just born in a country in a village somewhere, and they don't have nothing. They're just whatever. Like, their name is. That's just who they are. That's their identification. So immigration is a hard one, but ultimately, what I think is this. We should at this point, we have so many fucking illegal migrants here that we just need to go, okay, we're going to write a law or pass a proclamation or whatever, and just, you all get amnesty, but you have to come forward and verify your identity. And any of you that are found to be criminals in this country with active warrants, or, on the expedition list, and you have crimes in those countries, you're gone. Like, period. If you are in the process of, like, if you have warrants in this country, you're gone. Like, you're just done. Like, bye. But everybody else should be, okay, here's a visa. Here's whatever paperwork you need. Welcome to the fucking United States. And on top of that, it shouldn't take, 13 or 14 years it is to become a naturalized citizen? Like, that is insane. I think 5 years is pretty fair. I think 3 to 7 years is fair. 7 is half, and 3 is just a little bit too few. I think to become a full U.S. citizen with the right to vote, um, I think 5 years is fair. Now, to hold office, I think it should still be a decade. I don't think anybody should come here and be able to hold any office within 10 years of them being a citizen or a resident here. That that just, no. That irks me. That's my personal opinion. But I think that's pretty fair assessment of immigration where we're at now. Like 3 to 5 year path to citizenship. Um, yeah. Uh, and vetting and deportations of people who need to leave, you know, uh, and some aid. I think we should help, if these people have, like, okay, give them the benefit of the doubt. Go, okay, you're from, Guinea or whatever, but they don't have any documentation. Okay, we're going to try to verify your identity. If we can do that with a certain degree of accuracy, then we can give you a temporary visa or asylum here or whatever. You know what I mean? That's how we should be dealing with the immigration issues. There's a few other issues on here like healthcare. I'm sure you can probably tell not by now how I feel about healthcare. Um, food, like the taxes. There's a whole bunch of things, but these are just like 4 or 5 of the main issues everybody votes on. There's a whole bunch of um, governmental, just legislative things and laws themselves that I think are bullshit or can be rewritten. But these are just some of the main issues that people vote on, and my opinion and solutions to them, opinion on them and solutions to them. So, let me know what you think. But yeah, that's like I said, I keep going on, but where does somebody like me, like, what party is going to give me 80% of what I just talked about? What candidate is going to give me 80% of what I just talked about? Or that kind of worldview or approach to the world in how it deals with the policy of human beings and essentially lording over them, because that's what this topic is about, right? Laws, government, personal opinion on such. Well, that's mine. A little bit of it, at least. So, hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think. And if you ever see me in Phuket, you never saw me in Phuket.